Hey everybody, this is Philip from the Fill Your Cup podcast. I want to welcome everybody here today. So we're here at episode 5, and we're going to be talking about no-win situations. See, when we get caught in a no-win situation, it's tempting for us to, run away from things, run to our addictions or our compulsive escape hatches. It's easy just to walk away into our evil desires, our compulsions, our addictions to deal with the things that we feel like we cannot win. So I want us to take a look in the Gospels in Genesis chapter 16 today to see this situation play out in the Gospel with a woman named Hagar. And many of you may know this story, but I want to read through the scriptures here just to give us an idea that she was put in a no-win situation and didn't know what to do next or how to even react to it. So let's go through this. In Genesis 16 verses 1, it says, Now Sarai, which is Sarah, she hadn't been named Sarah yet, Abram's wife, had borne him no children, but she had an Egyptian slave named Hagar. So she said to Abram, The Lord has kept me from having children. Go sleep with my slave. Perhaps I can build a family through her. Abram agreed to what Sarah said. So after Abram had been living in Canaan 10 years, Sarai, his wife, took her Egyptian slave Hagar and gave her to her husband to be his wife. He slept with Hagar and she conceived. When she knew she was pregnant, she began to despise her mistress. Then Sarai said to Abram, You are responsible for the wrong I am suffering. I put my slave in your arms, and now she knows she is pregnant and that she despises me. May the Lord judge between you and me. Now, this is kind of funny here, right? Sarai put Abram in this situation by offering Hagar to him to potentially have a child. And once she gets pregnant, Sarai gets jealous. And not only that, but then Sarai blames Abram for this, even though this was kind of Sarai's idea from the get go. But going back to verse 6 says, Your slaves is in your hands, Abram said to her. Do whatever you want, whatever you think is best. Then Sarai mistreated Hagar, so she fled from her. The angel of the Lord found Hagar near a spring in the desert. It was the spring that is beside the road to Shur. And he said to Hagar, Slave of Sarai, where have you gone? Where have you come from? And where are you going? I'm running away from my mistress, Sarai said. Then the angel of the Lord told her, Go back to your mistress and submit to her. The angel added, I will increase your descendants so much that they will be too numerous to count. The angel of the Lord also said to her, You are pregnant, and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard of your misery. He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and he will live in hostility towards all his brothers. She gave this name to the Lord who spoke to her. You are the God who sees me. For she said, I have now seen the one who sees me. That is why the well was called Bir Lahai Roi. It is still there between Kadesh and Bered. So Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram gave him the name Ishmael to the son she had born. You see, at times like this, we need to learn that God is there for us. God was there for Hagar when she was being mistreated by Sarai. And Hagar was in a no-win situation. There was nothing she could really do to find victory in this circumstance she found herself in. And God will listen to us in the midst of our woes. And he listened to her in the midst of her woes. And see, we need to learn to express our pains to God. Instead of trying to escape our pain instead of trying to run from our pain, we need to instead express our pain to God. Let him hear our woes. Be willing to, so he could give us some hope for our future. Because see, here's the thing, God's a big God. God's a big God. He can handle it. And there's nothing that you cannot throw at him that he cannot handle. There's nothing you can say to him that's going to overwhelm him. And he loves us so much that he would not leave us in a situation that we cannot get out of. There is no such thing as a no-win situation when it comes to God. We don't need to use the things of this world to combat and fight against the struggles that we face each and every day. And I want to show you again in some more scripture In 1 Corinthians 10:13, it says, no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. Because guess what? We all face struggles. We all face temptations. Those of us in addiction, those of us in recovery, we will face temptations. There will not be a point in time where you will not face a moment of temptation or a trial of temptation, especially when you go through struggles and stress and strife in life. Those things will happen. We're going to face these things. And then God says, and God is faithful, and He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. It didn't say that you wouldn't be tempted. Those temptations that come to us, and for us in recovery, we face these struggles each and every day. Even though they may be minute, it could be small, could be major, we face struggles every day, especially tempted to use our addiction as a means of coping with things, whether that be food, whether that's drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever the case might be. And God is faithful and He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so you can endure it. So temptation itself is not a sin. Okay, the temptation itself is what we do with that temptation that can be sinful. Obviously, for us in recovery, if we decide to use our drug of choice, our dependency of choice, that is when it becomes sinful. So at the end of the day, God will always give us a way out. He always opens a door for us to exit out of our desires, to relapse, to use our drug of choice, our dependency of choice. He will not leave us in the struggle. We choose to hang out in the struggle. We choose to hang into that temptation. God will always give us a way out of it. If we seek after Him in the midst of that, He will give us a way out. And one of the struggles I had early on in my recovery is this old saying that used to goes around. It says, when you need to call someone, right? In recovery, they tell you, if you are tempted, pick up the phone and call somebody. But early on in my recovery, that phone felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. And I don't know about you, but that phone call was always so difficult to make. It was so difficult to make. Whether it was praying to God or if it was even reaching out to a fellow person in recovery or pastor or friend or anyone. And it wasn't that I didn't have people that loved me. I had plenty of people who loved me and cared about me. But I chose to have that feeling and believe the feeling that my phone weighed 1,000 pounds and I couldn't pick it up. But don't ever believe that feeling. That feeling is not real. That is what the enemy will use to make you believe that there's no one out there that loves you. And believe me when I say this, there are people out there who love you. There are people out there who trust you. And they want to help you in any way that they possibly can. And guys, I just want to thank everyone for watching the videos. This is a pretty short one and straightforward. Listen, there is no such thing as a no-win situation in God. In our temptations, in the midst of our recovery, you can stay clean one day at a time. Follow the program. Pray to God. Let God use you and give you the opportunities to exit out of any situation that may be tempting to you to relapse. Pick up a phone and call someone. Go to a group meeting. There's plenty of online Zoom meetings. We'll be starting up my Redeem ministry here September the 9th. Can't wait to get that started up. Forgive me for the coughing, but thank you so much. And again, I'll see you again next time on the Fill Your Cup podcast.